Hello and welcome to Prepspot. In this video, we are going to know about a major development in Indian parliamentary affairs, the announcement of a 24% salary hike for members of parliament. This decision, which was made on 15th March 2025 during the budget session in the Lok Sabha, has not only generated significant media attention but also sparked debates about economic priorities, public perception, and the overall governance model in India. In today's discussion, we'll explore the background and context of this salary revision, its technical details, its impact on public policy, and the broader implications for the political landscape of India. To begin with, let's set the stage by understanding the structure and significance of the current system. The compensation of members of parliament in India is governed by the Salary, Allowances and Pension of Members of Parliament Act, 1954. Under this act, MPs receive a basic salary along with several allowances such as the constituency allowance, office expense allowance, and a daily sumptuary allowance, which are essential for them to carry out their parliamentary duties. As of 2023, the basic monthly salary for MPs was 50,000 rupees, supplemented by an additional constituency allowance of 45,000 rupees and other allowances that enable them to perform effectively. However, with the evolving economic scenario and rising living costs, this salary structure has come under scrutiny. In the context of economic challenges, it is important to note that India is facing a dynamic fiscal environment. Despite significant economic growth, inflation has been persistent, averaging around 5% annually. With unemployment at a concerning 10.5% in 2025, there is increased public sensitivity to government spending and executive decisions. Against this backdrop, the government decided to implement a 24% salary hike for MPs. This hike increases the basic salary from 50,000 rupees to 62,000 rupees per month, representing a raise of 12,000 rupees. For our competitive exam aspirants, remember that this increase is not arbitrary, it is a calculated adjustment to keep pace with inflation and to reflect the evolving economic realities faced by public servants. The announcement was made on 15th March 2025 at 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time during a session in the Lok Sabha, and it has since been widely covered by major news outlets like The Hindu, Business Standard, and India Today. According to reports, the revised salary is set to benefit all 788 members of parliament, comprising 543 members from the Lok Sabha and 245 from the Rajya Sabha. This decision is part of a broader trend of periodic salary revisions, which have previously taken place in 2010 and 2018. In 2018, for instance, the basic salary saw a significant jump from 16,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees, reflecting similar economic adjustments. Now, you might wonder why such a significant hike is causing such a stir. The answer lies in public perception and the broader socio-economic implications. On one hand, increasing the salary of MPs is seen by some as a necessary measure to ensure that elected representatives are not unduly influenced by corruption or external pressures and that they can meet the increased cost of living. On the other hand, critics argue that in a country where millions of citizens struggle with unemployment and rising prices, a 24% hike for lawmakers appears to be out of touch with the public sentiment. Indeed, there have been protests by citizens, particularly in urban centers like Delhi, where thousands have taken to the streets to express their discontent. These protests, reported by the Indian Express, highlight a growing disconnect between the government's policies and the economic realities faced by ordinary citizens. Let's now turn our attention to the origins of this decision. The salary hike is grounded in the provisions of the Salary, Allowances and Pension of Members of Parliament Act of 1954. This act was established to standardize the remuneration of MPs and to ensure that they are compensated fairly for the responsibilities they shoulder. Over the years, periodic revisions have been made to adjust for inflation and the changing economic landscape. The most recent major hike in 2018 was a landmark decision that increased the basic salary significantly, and the 2025 adjustment is seen as a continuation of this policy. It's interesting to note that these adjustments are made not only to keep pace with inflation but also to maintain a level of financial stability among lawmakers, which is considered essential for the effective functioning of the parliament. In addition to the basic salary increase, it's crucial to understand that other allowances such as the constituency allowance, office expense allowance, and the daily sumptuary allowance remain unchanged. The focus of the 2025 revision was specifically on the basic salary component. With a revised basic salary of 62,000 rupees, MPs are expected to have a greater degree of financial independence, which, according to proponents, might reduce their susceptibility to corruption. However, critics contend that such salary hikes should be carefully balanced against public needs, especially when significant portions of the population are grappling with unemployment and inflation. From a technical standpoint, the calculation behind the salary hike is straightforward. A 24% increase on the previous salary of 50,000 rupees results in an increase of 12,000 rupees, leading to a new basic salary of 62,000 rupees per month. This calculation is based on clear arithmetic, but its broader implications are far-reaching. For instance, while this increase may seem modest on a per capita basis, when multiplied by the total number of MPs, 788, it represents a substantial increase in government expenditure. Critics argue that in the face of economic challenges such as a 10.5% unemployment rate, such an expenditure might be viewed as excessive and out of touch with the realities of the common man. Furthermore, the timing of this salary hike is also significant. The announcement came during the budget session of the Lok Sabha, a period when fiscal policies and government expenditures are under intense scrutiny. With the government having allocated a hypothetical budget of 5,000 crore rupees for parliamentary affairs in 2025, this hike is part of a broader effort to modernize and streamline parliamentary functions. However, it also means that there is heightened sensitivity among the public and opposition parties, which see the hike as part of a pattern of increasing expenditure on the privileges of elected representatives while ignoring the struggles of ordinary citizens. The political implications of this decision are multifaceted. On the one hand, supporters of the hike argue that higher salaries for MPs are essential to attract competent candidates to the parliament and to ensure that these public servants can perform their duties without the undue influence of corruption. On the other hand, opponents view the hike as a symbol of the disconnect between the ruling elite and the masses. Opposition leaders, including figures like Rahul Gandhi, have been quick to criticize the decision on social media platforms, where hashtags like #HashMapSalariHai have trended. Such public debates indicate that the issue is not merely about numbers on a paycheck but also about the broader narrative of governance, accountability, and public trust. It is also important to examine the historical context of MP salaries in India. Since the enactment of the Salary, Allowances and Pension of Members of Parliament Act in 1954, there have been several revisions aimed at keeping the compensation in line with economic conditions. The significant hike in 2018, which raised the basic salary from 16,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees, was widely debated at the time and remains a reference point for understanding the 2025 hike. While such increases are intended to reflect the rising cost of living and inflation, they also have to be viewed in the context of the broader economic disparities that exist in India. With millions of citizens struggling with unemployment and rising prices, the optics of increasing the salaries of MPs can be quite controversial. Another dimension to consider is the potential impact of this salary hike on parliamentary functions. Proponents argue that better-paid MPs will be less susceptible to corruption and more focused on their legislative duties. In theory, this should lead to improved governance and more effective policy-making. However, there is also the risk that such hikes may further widen the gap between the lawmakers and the general public, thereby eroding trust in the political system. The protests in Delhi and other urban centers suggest that many citizens perceive this move as emblematic of a growing elitism in politics. Looking at the economic implications, while the government contends that this hike is necessary for the sustainability of parliamentary operations, critics have pointed out that in a country with an unemployment rate of 10.5% and significant inflation, public resources might be better allocated to social welfare programs. The debate over resource allocation is not new, but it has gained renewed intensity in the current economic climate, where every rupee of public expenditure is scrutinized against the backdrop of the struggles faced by the common people. This context is vital for competitive exam aspirants, as it highlights the intersection of economics, public policy, and governance, a recurring theme in many contemporary issues. From a legal perspective, it's also worth noting that the adjustment of MP salaries is governed by established legislative frameworks. The Salary, Allowances and Pension of Members of Parliament Act, 1954, has provided a structured approach to revising compensation over the decades. Understanding this legal framework is crucial for comprehending how such decisions are made and their broader implications on public sector accountability. Legal scholars often debate whether such salary hikes are justified, given the social contract between elected representatives and the electorate. For many, it raises questions about fairness and the need for a more balanced approach that takes into account the economic challenges faced by the wider population. In terms of public perception, recent polls have indicated that up to 60% of citizens oppose the hike, viewing it as an unnecessary luxury for the elite. Protests in major cities like Delhi have underscored this sentiment, with thousands of demonstrators taking to the streets. Opposition parties have seized on this issue as a key talking point, arguing that the government should prioritize the needs of the underprivileged over increasing the salaries of MPs. These debates are not just political but also have deep socio-cultural implications, reflecting the broader discontent with perceived governmental excesses. Furthermore, the implications of this salary hike extend beyond immediate economic considerations. It is likely to influence the upcoming state and national elections, as public sentiment around issues of economic inequality and governmental accountability continues to intensify. For students and competitive exam aspirants, understanding this topic is essential as it touches upon various aspects of public policy, economics, legal frameworks, and social justice, all of which are critical areas in contemporary governance. In conclusion, the announcement of a 24% salary hike for members of parliament in March 2025, which raises the basic monthly salary from 50,000 rupees to 62,000 rupees, is a multifaceted issue that encapsulates the complexities of governance in modern India. This decision is set against a backdrop of economic challenges, including inflation and unemployment, and reflects the ongoing need to adjust public sector compensation to match the cost of living. However, it has also ignited significant public debate, with many citizens and opposition leaders criticizing the move as indicative of a growing disconnect between the political class and the general populace. The controversy underscores broader questions about resource allocation, public trust, and the role of elected officials in a democratic society. As we move forward, the impact of this salary hike will not only affect the functioning of the parliament but will also have long-term implications for political accountability and economic policy in India. This is an essential topic for competitive exam aspirants, as it provides insights into how economic policies and legislative decisions can influence the larger framework of governance and public administration in India. Answer this question in comments. The correct answer will be given heart and pinned. Lastly, we just want to let you know that we are a newly emerging online platform for competitive exams. Creating educational explainer videos like these requires a lot of effort, money, and time. If you like these videos and want us to excel and create videos in all categories of competitive exams, then you can consider supporting us with a one-time donation through the Ko-fi platform and also by becoming a member through Patreon. This will help us create more such informative educational videos in the competitive exams space. So, one last time, subscribe and share this channel with all your friends who are preparing for competitive exams. And also, follow us on social media platforms. The links are given in the About section of the channel and also in the video description. So, see you in the next video.